They knew I was at least talented with the writing, and they were my friends, and they were constantly trying to pull me out of the gangbang shit, you know? And I was constantly fighting against that. Like, man, I'm cool. I'm good over here.
Yeah.
And they were like, one day, I don't know how they convinced me, but they were like, yo, let's go to the studio. We got the studio time. We need 2 songs for Mello. Man, come on. What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fuck it. And
so at that point right there, when you go, all right, fuck it.
That was it.
Yeah, that's not that loud. That's all right, I can adjust. My balls is totally moving, new and improving, knocked out, we get back up. I've got the heart and desire, my balls are on fire, ready to take us to the top. Welcome to the show. Did you know that your mom is a she could be a hoe. All hail the king of the West. Yep. Thank you. King of the West. Weird. It means so many things, but it doesn't mean anything at all. Especially when I feel like claiming you're the king of the West and Be Real's on your show. It's fucking stupid as shit. Makes no sense. I'm so far behind all the kings of the West. I don't really have a claim. Howard Stern beat me. Joe Rogan's fucking top shit. So fuck me. I'm just happy to be here. Be Real. Thanks for being on the Jason Ellis Show.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, we love having you on the show. I love being on your show. When I first got dropped from Sirius and I wasn't sure what the fuck to do, and I just hadn't paid attention to podcasting. If you got paid a lot of money a year to fucking do a Sirius XM show, why would you give a fuck about podcasting?
Right.
You're not allowed in. And I was like, they're paying me not to be allowed in. Fine.
Right.
I got money. I got family taken care of. All I got to do is say funny fart jokes on the radio. This is too easy. So then I was spun into this bullshit. And one of the first people I called, because not only is Be Real have a fucking sick podcast, but I mean, we don't hang out. You're a busy guy, man. But you're just one of those people. And I know that people that know you all say the same thing. You're just one of those people that it's so stupid because it's in your name. You're just super reality based. Like if you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it. And in this game, in this world of entertainers, you can be babied enough to be like, yeah, man, I'll be there. Like fucking maybe I will, maybe I won't, man. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I got friends like that
I know that.
I know
we both do.
We both have friends that are like, yeah, man,
like
sure.
that.
I forgot who you fuck you were. Like
For me, it's always been like I show up for my friends. You know what I mean? And I try to stick to my word because realistically, that's my name. I cannot fuck around.
That was a good idea.
And not do what I say. You know, it even relates to the littlest shit like my beard, right? You know, management, agents, and representatives. Why don't you dye your beard? You'll look younger. You don't look old. You only have gray. And I said, well, I can't call myself this name if I'm, being anything different than what I am. And I'm 51. I'll wear that proudly, right? There, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not ashamed of the gray. That's just wisdom. So, and I always have that sort of discussion with them. But that's me. I will show up for my friends. I will not half-ass people that I consider family and friends. And you, my friend, are my motherfucking friend.
Back at you, dude.
And I always thought when that happened that they made one of the biggest mistakes by letting you go and get into this world because you don't need them.
Right.
You don't.
Right, which is it. You are correct, but I'm not going to lie. I was not looking forward to finding out.
Yeah.
I would have preferred to just kick back at this impossible career that I have. I'm like, am I really, after being a pro skateboarder, a fucking like high level radio host that is in the game, like just wasn't instant, but you know, Stern has me on all the time. Robin Quivers talks shit on me just like she talks shit on you. I cannot believe she called you a wigger.
Yeah.
That is the most insane. The last thing that you would call him, but also somehow, probably to me, I'm irritated by that. Because I'm like, are you fucking with him or are you really that fucking stupid? Which one is it?
Yeah, it was in the early 90s when we were popping off. Howard Stern was a big fan, you know, and he would talk about us now and then. And, you know, I had a lot of crazy shit going on at the time. And I don't think she knew I was Latin and that I'm, you know, Afro-Cuban and a bunch of other things. She didn't do that homework. And I think she called me that just by looking at me and thinking I was white, trying to be black. And
which is that highest level of cluelessness.
Oh yeah, I was kind of vexed, you know, but when I got on the show, you know, she treated me cool and I didn't want to be disrespectful on the show because I've never done that, you know, to anybody, even, you know, like on their platform. I don't feel comfortable doing it unless they go out of their way to insult me right then and there. Then it's on.
Right.
You know, but she didn't do that when I was there. And then I had visited a couple more times and we were cool. But like initially when she said that, I was insulted like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because that's definitely not what I am.
Yeah.
You know?
And she said I was a bad parent. And I think she did the same things she did to you where
she
it just came out.
No, yeah.
I don't think she set up or thought about it for a second. She was like, well, doesn't that make you a bad parent? I was like, wait, because I went to rehab, I shouldn't from here on out not have kids. If I do, that makes me a bad parent. I'm not going to answer that like with any respect anyway. But I remember thinking, wait, did you just fire a shot at innocent Jason Ellis, who's over here fucking confessing all the things that are not approved in this world, and you're going to fucking drop you're a bad dad on it? I was like, man, I wanted to say, why don't you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
But I thought that would be very disrespectful.
You know, like when I was going up there, I had so many things that I thought I would say once it got brought up. But, you know, Howard was really cool. And, you know, he sort of asked me all the questions to answer all the shit.
Yeah.
And it just sort of was cool. I had a good time.
Yeah.
And she was cool to me, didn't like try to be funny or anything like that.
Okay.
And so, I got over it. But I'll be lying if I didn't say it didn't sting for a while.
That's all I'm saying. Even people DM me after the interview and said, man, what's fucking Robin's beef with you? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Okay. I'm glad that you thought that too, because I clearly remember going, dude, make this good. You know, like do the best you can. Howard's being nice. We're working together, making funny jokes. And then this bitch fucking starts talking about bad parent. I'm like, you don't even have a kid. How the fuck would you even know what it is to be a dad? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But instead I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not your dad because I knew that her dad was mean to her.
I think we respect Howard so much that we weren't going to, cause a ruckus.
Could you imagine if he got, like, somehow you realized that you were having a disagreement with him on his show, and you'd be like, wait, I don't want to be in this.
No.
Like, what happened?
No.
I want to be on your good side, dude. I idolize you. Don't make me.
We love him. We don't want to fuck around.
I don't want to be not your like a guy that you go, oh, Jason Ellis, love that guy. Like, not fuck him. I'd be like, oh man, how did I do that?
Yeah, why?
Why? I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
like, why did I come on and pull my dick out and that? Why did I want to tell everybody that I was bi on the Howard Stern show? Because I feel like that's like talking to.
It's like he's like a therapist too.
Yeah.
Because, motherfuckers will unleash to him and be like, tell him the shit they wouldn't normally tell anybody else.
I felt like
they feel comfortable with him like that.
If you have shit that you're hiding, it's scientifically proven. If you get it out, it's healthy. It's healthy for you. You're trying to hold on to something that you don't want anyone else. Yeah. So telling him is like telling 10 million people in one shot.
Fucking A.
So you're like, I think I'm in the clear. I think anybody that's ever known who I am now knows it.
That's like a weight lifted.
It was.
Right?
It was after that, the morning after, I was like, anybody fucking ask me, I'll tell them. I don't give a fuck who it is anymore. I felt it go off me. Like I was like, I'm sick of hiding it. And if I say it here, I'll get free. And it was.
You know what's crazy is that like that is a part of stress. And stress is the shit that kills you and wears you down and deteriorates your spirit and your mind and your fucking body. You know, when you can release something like that, that's like a whole lot of stress gone.
That's what I felt.
And you know, a lot of people will go to Howard and do that shit unconsciously.
I think some people that haven't been in that situation think that they're doing it for attention. And I'll be the first to admit, I love attention, man, especially if it's fucking big old Howard Stern power attention.
We do these shows for fuck's sake.
I love it. But I knew that wasn't going to be a popularity move, you know?
Yeah.
I just was like, I'm willing to go down in popularity to get that stress off me.
But you know what?
And it was a good deal. I fucking don't regret it.
I don't think you went down in popularity. I think more people respect you now than anything. I mean, there's going to be people taken aback, you know, who never thought that of you and shit like that. But when they get down to know you, bro, like that doesn't even fucking matter. And it gives you more strength, I think. Well, in my opinion.
It gives me more strength when I hear your opinion because I really, your opinion means a lot to me. And some people, because I hate to say it, dude, but some people are pretty bummed about it.
Man, fuck that.
That's all. I'm like, I also get a lot of people that were like, I was going to fucking kill myself, man. And then I seen you on fucking YouTube spracking off about, what's up? Fucking, so what if I fucking do that? Like, I'm still me. I'm still living my fucking life. Right. And everybody still loves me. All my friends are still my fucking friends. Because that is the fact. If you're not now, you were never my friend.
Right.
That's just facts. You have to, there's not even an argument there. Like, oh, whoa, I didn't know he touched a dude. Like, okay, I'm not trying to touch you. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what about if I tell you I'm only heterosexual and half of American women start hating me because they know that I want to potentially have sex with them? Like, what? I don't want to fuck you, dude. So fucking get over it. Everybody needs to calm down on that shit.
Yeah, man.
I haven't mentioned that Tully is here because I figured Be Real's coming on the Jason Ellis show. We're going to fucking smoke some weed.
Yeah.
And then, so for the last couple of days, I've been trying to figure out a way for us to smoke weed on the show. Kevin is a lightweight, but he can take it. He's a big boy.
All right.
He also understands that we're in the room with fucking Be Real, and you never fucking not smoke weed when Be Real's here. You never say no, unlike some people that did when we did the Jason Ellis show at the
Roosevelt.
The Roosevelt.
I mean, I would be disappointed if I was sitting right here and this room didn't get cloudy.
I was going to say,
that'd be weird.
I think that maybe that guy that didn't smoke made the right choice because he's the only one that didn't get fired when we all got jumped. He's still there. And I'm like, because you're a corporate guy.
He's a corporate guy. Mm-hmm. You know when you got the corporate guy.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it took about 2 weeks for me to realize that he was way more interested in going somewhere else than with us.
You know, at first I thought this was beer. I was like, damn, you're doing it early in the morning. And I looked at it as a mountain water. I'm like, all right, I can do with that.
Crazy, man. That's, okay, Liquid Death, that's water, and then the black one is bubble water.
Bet.
But it's all water.
Hey, I don't judge. Sendog cracks 3 beers in the morning before a workout.
Wait,
Holy shit.
Nail? Still Nail?
Yeah, still.
Didn't he have a fucking heart thing?
Yeah, he's crazy.
Oh my God.
He works out all the time, right? He's like constantly on a treadmill or elliptical.
Treadmill or an elliptical.
Yeah,
he does cardio a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot of cardio.
Does he do the cardio to sort of fight the beer in the morning? What's his theory on the beer? It's an alcoholic, correct?
Yeah, I mean, he's racking the beers up. He's racking them up. He might do his workout before, but like, you know, on tour, you know, boom, the first 2 of the morning, like it, but he'll span him out through the day. He doesn't like do a 12-pack in a fucking hour.
You guys are the same age as me, right?
Yeah. Well, he's older. He's 55, 56.
Dude, cracking beers at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's superhuman, man. At 55?
He does it. He'll go to the gym. He'll do his 7 miles on the elliptical or treadmill.
Wait, before the beer?
Before the beer.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe the beer before. I guess it depends how he feels.
7 miles after like a long neck.
Pretty much.
Respect.
But he does that shit every day. That's why like he don't see any of the beers he drinks on him. Like he wears it well.
Oh, okay.
Because he works the fuck out.
Man, that is a theory. I'll give him that. There's a theory there where that can potentially work. But I also think, how long will it work before the doctor goes, look, you can't do it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like he would have already had that suggestion, correct?
I would imagine so.
Right. Because I don't drink anymore. That's why you think I've got beer at the table at fucking in the morning on Wednesday. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that because my doctor said, hey, you're good. Like, I wouldn't drink too much anymore if I was you. It could trigger your heart problem.
Right.
And I was like, I'm out, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not doing one beer. And I've dissected it from my life. I don't do it. Sure, every now and then, like if I do something good, that's when it's the worst.
Right.
If I fucking do some skateboard trick, I relearned kickflip indies the other day and I hadn't done one in 20 years, be real.
Sheesh.
And then Tony brought up, he's like, when was the last time you did that? I was like, on that tour with you. And he's like, dude, that's 20 years ago.
Mm.
And I fucking got a little teary-eyed in the car driving home because I was like, I never would have, I was toast, man. Everyone knew it.
Yeah.
When I was a pro, they were like, make the most of this because you're fucked after this. You're a drug addict and you're crazy and you don't have an education. This is your fucking moment. And to know at 50, like all these other people drop off and I'm
still
there.
Here.
And then even at my birthday the other day, there was like several people that were like, dude, you're like in fucking better shape now than you were when we were pro. And I was
That's
like,
right.
yeah, I know. Unfortunately, you're right.
And happy belated.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, but I'm so happy on skateboarding right now, dude. Just to be there again. It's like if I know you never left your game.
Yeah.
But I mean, your game worked all the way. You Cypress Hill, Be Real could do fucking anything. But I had you at Ellis Mania by yourself in turntables, and I recommended it to Lewis for Skank Fest because he's like, how can I get a good show? And I was like, Be Real has the sickest one-man show ever. Like he just gets up there, and then at one point he's on the fucking turntables mixing it with the DJ. It's a fucking show. And he was like, oh, dude, I got to get that. So, but you always had it. Yeah. But skateboarding, I didn't. It was, hey man, like you got to move. There's like other people coming up and you're not getting any better. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then SiriusXM offers me a job and I just drove up to LA and committed to it.
Yeah. It's sort of like that in every aspect. It's like that in every aspect of entertainment, right? Even with us, we were fortunate to carve out a place for ourselves and build a cult following, if you will, right? That supports us through and through, whether we got new records or not. They show up for us, you know what I mean? But the nature of the game is that the artists keep getting younger, right? And in hip hop, when you get older, they have less places for you to put you on this platform to shine. Because radio only has so many slots. They want to give them to younger artists. Video, where they run, let's just say video shows, which are not many, but YouTube is one of the places that they blow and a few others.
Blue Chew gets you hard.
You know what that means? This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it along with us.
Blue Chew!
Making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's the best kind of erections.
It gives me a throbbing knob, mate.
You are mad for them.
I get myself a throbbing knob.
Did you have to go to a store?
No,
you didn't.
it just came to me house.
Right.
And
And
discreet packaging.
that's right.
Eh.
Was it a hard to swallow pill?
Nah.
Nuh-uh.
Hey, you can chew it if you want to.
Was the process complicated?
Not at all. Because I don't do well when it comes to that stuff, and I still get them on a regular basis delivered to my house. So that tells you that they're very easy to use.
I'll vouch for him. And here's the special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code. Here it is. You ready? Ellis at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code Ellis to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. We are talking to you today about Upstart, the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Debt, it's the worst. You could be out there on Saturday night having fun with your friends, but in the back of your mind, what about that payment, that bill, that debt that I can never get out of?
If you buy a new shirt and it's all fancy and it was expensive, you know you're stupid because you have to pay that debt first.
That's right.
Can't just get it. You feel guilty.
That's right. You can't even enjoy your fancy new shirt. Well, friend, it doesn't have to be that way.
It was so fancy.
You can consolidate your high interest debt into this one personal loan. You can look into how this might work out for you without affecting your credit. Don't worry about that. It's not going to impact your credit score just to check your rate. Are you worried that maybe your credit score isn't exactly where it needs to be? Don't worry. Upstart considers other factors like your income, your current employment, and your credit history to find.
It had pockets for my nipples.
To find a smarter rate for your loan. It was a great shirt. Nobody's debating that.
Okay. Oh, find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/Ellis. That's upstart.com/Ellis. Don't forget to use your URL to let them know we sent ya. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application, mate. Upstart.com/Ellis.
They're always looking to promote the younger artists as opposed to the so-called legacy or.
So how do you stay in that? Just more albums or?
I think you know, for us, it's always been, we know we have our audience. Even if, like, let's just say the young folks out there, they're not necessarily into our shit. But some are, because music gets passed down, much like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath was passed down to us because it was before our time, but somehow we got it, right? And that's what our music is to some of these young folks. So as long as we keep doing what we're doing in terms of getting out there and playing shows and winning folks over and doing the shows to the best of our ability with high energy and control, you know, people gravitate to that. And if we keep making music that is maybe not what's out there like all the young folks are putting out, but like our version of right now, and it's good quality music, they come to it. And
I think it's amazing because it's been so long and you haven't changed your sound. Like you are you. Every time you start, it's fucking super obvious who just started hitting the microphone.
Yeah.
But it's such an obvious thing that all the kids that are into the mumble rapping and what shit that I don't really get into because I'm old. I fucking like the older school shit.
Right.
But I can tell that the new immediately respect you, even if they didn't know about you because they're so young and then they get hit in the face with Cypress Hill. Nobody shits on you. Like nobody, you're never uncool.
Fortunate like that.
It's do you know, is this an accident or was there a plan to this? Because
it's
amazing.
I'm from the era they called gold school. There's old school and then gold school, right? The 90s is the golden era of hip hop, as they call it, right? And, you know, we call it gold school because we ain't old. We put a G on it. We're gold and gangster, all right? Just to let you know. But, you know, the thing about...
Man, that's a good one.
You
got me, right? It's fucking certain... Right when I was blowing it out, I'm fucking dying.
So, you know, the thing about our school is, you know, a lot of us were very egotistical and arrogant.
We're trying to show off, B.
It's okay. The volcano is great.
He's like, B's coming. let's fucking volcano, let's fucking roll doobies, and let's get Tully out of here because he will not be able to drive a car back to his wife today.
Yeah, Tully's in the woods, it looks like.
How are you, Tully, out there in the woods?
I'm having a very peaceful morning out here by the creek.
Good to see you, Tully.
Nice to see you too. Be real.
Yeah, so I think why I've been embraced by some of the younger artists is because I've always like not been afraid to, highlight them and say, yo, these guys are the shit. I fucked with them, you know what I mean? And do collaborations with them, do features with them and stuff like that. I was never on the shit where I'm trying to out-rap them and make them look bad. It's all complimentary.
And some older guys do.
Yes, so just
it's a little bit of jealousy.
Just for instance, if someone from my school gets on a record with one of these young bucks, they're trying to out-rap them, right? And trying to do these complicated rhyme schemes.
Like Eminem with Jay-Z, trying to, he's got his little spot to
that
go
works.
hard.
That works, though, because they're both on a fucking high level.
Right.
They both can flex, right?
Right, he didn't destroy.
Right.
It was just...
But some rappers come and they get asked to feature and they try to destroy these young dudes.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't realize that the people that fuck with that young dude, what you're doing is going over their fucking head because you're overcomplicating the rhyme to, his or her base. You know what I mean? And then, they take it as an insult because you're trying to flex on them and you are trying to flex on them. And I found it's better than, trying to flex on them and eat them up and make them look bad on their own song is to highlight how fucking dope they are and do something complimentary to them.
Right.
And make the song dope as opposed to make myself look dope.
Which is
right.
It's good for everybody.
Right. I already know I'm not
a lot of people think like that. You realize that, right? Especially in your game.
They should.
I agree.
My whole shit is this, right? I'm not trying to make you look bad and make myself look great. If I make you look good, we all look great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm trying to shit on you and out-rap you on your own song, that's not a collaboration. It's a
contest.
It's a contest. And that's not what you asked me to do. Now, if you're flexing on me on the song and I could hear you flexing, then I will flex back. But
that's awesome.
If we're just trying to make a great song that, and that's always been the scenario with some of these young cats.
Has that happened?
A flex?
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty.
So you get asked, you get on the track, and then how does it go usually? Do you hear their track and then you put in your shit, or is it in front of you? How does it go usually?
It's, if you're going to flex on me, it's a bad idea to give me the song first and let me hear what you're going to do, because I will fucking take that, dissect it, and flex the fuck on you.
Oh, mate, here we are. The Jason Ellis Show, talking about teeth. Do you like teeth? Have you ever had teeth? Do you know what it feels like to have, teeth? What about gums? Let's talk gums. I don't talk gums a lot, but I'm talking gums now. Do you like your gums? What about if I was to rip your gums and your teeth out of your face? Would you like that? I bet you wouldn't. Right, Kevin?
I don't want you to do that to me.
Right. That's why you should. Hear me out. I haven't finished.
Wait, what should I buy?
Check out my angle. A toothbrush, you dumbass. It's about a toothbrush. Quip is the future of all toothbrushes. They're going to love this campaign.
I had actually never used a Quip before, and I finally got to try one out because I've always been nervous in the past. Anytime I brush my teeth with a vibrating toothbrush, the second it touches my teeth, my nose gets so itchy, I can't stop itching. It's the weirdest thing. The second it touches my teeth, I'm like,
dang, you're fragile.
This thing, no issue whatsoever.
Does it make your nose itchy? Well,
No,
that's great
I've been
news
using
for
it
all
every
the
day.
everybody out there, the millions of people that were getting itchy nose from using a
Oh, they're out there. Don't make
toothbrush.
me be a weirdo. They're out there.
They're not out there. Anyway,
Look, whether you're the itchy nose crowd or you don't want to have your teeth and gums ripped out of your face crowd, one thing we can all agree on is you need to get some Quip in your life, baby.
all.
Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to getquip.com/Ellis right now to save $10 on a Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush. That's $10 off a Smart Electric Toothbrush at getquip.com/Ellis, spelled GETQUIP.com/Ellis. Ellis, Quip, the Good Habits Company. We are happy to be talking to you again about Athletic Greens and a product that all of us enjoy, AG1 by Athletic Greens. If you're drinking some sort of supplement drink, some green drink, there's a very good chance, an almost 100% chance, what you are drinking becomes very expensive pee, like half an hour later. The key word here is bioavailability. It's not enough to put it in your body. It's got to stay in your body when you pee. And that is one of the many reasons why, look, it's hard to get to the gym every day. It's hard to get enough sleep every night. It's not hard to drink AG1 by Athletic Greens. It's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's so easy. I can do it. And I do it a ton.
You just put a packet of it in the water and that's kind of it. So pretty sure we can all do that.
One tasty scoop of AG1 contains 75 minerals, vitamins, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotic, green superfood blend, and more in one convenient daily serving. The special blend of high-quality, bioavailable ingredients and a scoop of AG1 work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet, support energy and focus, aid with gut health and digestion, and support a healthy immune system, effectively replacing multiple products or pills with one healthy, delicious drink. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you an immune-supporting free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first visit. With your first purchase, if you visit athleticgreens.com/ get ready for it, JES. That's athleticgreens.com / JES.
People have hired you to collaborate on a song, and then they send you the song, and he is flexing on you in his part, and then he goes, go ahead, put your shit on there.
So when we're trying to write a cohesive song, everybody is flexing for the song and not on each other.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But sometimes when you get on songs with MCs, no one wants to be the weak link. So it's not necessarily that I'm flexing on you to make you look bad, but I cannot be the weak link in the fucking as it relates to the rap shit.
So you're saying it's not necessarily, they're not like saying anything directly about you. It's just the level that they're trying to
The
give
level
them
that they're bringing,
everything
yes.
they've got in this little section right here so that you don't look that good coming up.
So that they look the best.
Right.
It's not even so that they make you look bad. It's so they make
That must
themselves
happen
look
all the
best.
time because you as an entertainer, you're a fucking egotistical maniac and you're like, oh, my time to shine is now. Like, let's go.
So I'll give you an example, right?
Wow, you've just made me, sorry, dude. I was that. Every time I was a guest, I fucking went so hard because I wanted everybody to know that I was the best talker in the room. And then after years of trying to understand why some people didn't like me, and I'm like, why does this guy not like me? I was on the show killing it. It's like, no, dude, you were taking over. You were flexing. And you had no idea. So, and then I feel like when I started doing Opie and Anthony, because they hated me, or one of them did. And then when I got older and I went on, I found my place on there. I just had my little pocket. And when it was a time for me to add, I would add. And not too much. I would just get it in and wait for it to circulate. And I felt like it took, man, unfortunately, it probably took like fucking 10 years because I'm such a potential dickhead.
It takes time to recognize these things. I mean, it took me time, you know what I mean? Because I thought the same thing, for a long time. If I ever get on a record with anybody, I'm going to chop their fucking head off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was being very selfish in thinking that instead of let's make a dope song. I'm not going to try to outdo what they did. I'm going to try to be right there with them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do anything as weak, but I'm not going to try to fucking overdo you. I'm going to be right here with you. You know what I mean? Hand in hand, let's fucking, put up this fucking dope song.
I mean, you are making a song.
Right.
It's not a race.
But I'll give you an example, right? I did a series of albums with 2 different parties, let's say, right? So with Burner, I was never trying to outflex him on any song. We were making songs that, are cohesive and so that we sound good together. Not it's a rap competition between 2 friends on a fucking album.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get that when you hear it. It's like complementary to each other, right?
Yeah.
And so then I got the series with Exhibit and Demrick, where this is on purpose, is that we're all flexing on almost every song. And some of them are song-based style flexes where we're doing this all on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, we're all trying to like flip it because it's all about the rhymes in this fucking group, right?
Okay,
It's also concept, but it's also about style and how we flip the cadences and how we, you know, the word play within the cadence and just, you know, trying to hit every pocket on every beat, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, usually this happens on one song on an album because you don't want to overdo that. But like the abilities of Exhibit, Demrick, and myself, it's a constant flex on the records we make together. So when
Is
you
that
get
harder work?
say what?
Is that harder work when you
No.
have to?
No,
Okay.
not for guys like us. We thrive off that shit. So a piece of game that DJ Muggs, our producer for Cypress Hill, told me this years ago when we were young. You know, I don't even know how he got it. He might have got it from a older mentor that maybe we didn't know or something like that. But the one piece of advice that he gave me, you know, to become what I've become in the art of MCs and the pantheon and all that stuff is you want to be the best, you got to be around the best and you got to study the best, listen to them, figure out where everything's at.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way. You got to be a student of the game.
Right.
Much like guys like Mike Tyson would watch old school fights and look at the, you know, the great things that older boxers did and how he could implement them and shit like that, and how football players and basketball players, they go run back their games and, you know, see what they did right, see what they did wrong, try to improve in different places. So I've always been that based off of that advice, right?
Yeah, me too.
So, you know, getting with these guys, it's on the same page, right? You know, they're constantly like trying to be around the best guys so that it elevates their game. And when you hear someone flip a crazy verse, you're like, oh shit, you always want to be the second or last one on the song so you could hear what they did and then flex the fuck out.
All right.
Now, there's been times where I didn't get that I had to be the first on the song.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it's that, it's gymnastics time. You're going to have to keep up with what I did. And that in turn makes the song better because these guys behind me are like, well, I got to keep up with that.
Right.
And sometimes they may do better shit than I did, but that's because the foundation of it.
You came in hot.
I came in hot.
All right.
So I'm not asking this, you know, for my own edification, but perhaps for somebody at home, you know, cornier than me. But what would constitute as a flex? Like, obviously, if you get a track from somebody else and they're personally calling you out and talking shit, that goes beyond a flex. But if somebody's just like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest to ever do it. Oh, and now some other guy's going to go.
It's not just the verbals. It's, you know, it's how you say it and it's in the style that you say it. And some guys got like Busta Rhymes, for instance, he's constantly flexing styles.
Yeah.
Like if you hear his shit, how he's that's a fucking flex because there ain't too many people that are gonna flip a style like that with all those words and make sense and it be like Bone Thugs and Harmony do it.
Yeah.
They're some of the best at it, if not the best. There's Twista who also does that. They are constantly flexing because their shit is like, that's mostly what it is impacting all these fucking words and making a phrase that makes sense and is witty, that's complex, and keeping that going and being able to rap that shit actually too, because you can do it in the studio, but can you rap it live?
Would you say Busta Rhymes is one of the better rappers out there?
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best.
And still?
Because
he can still freestyle and do shit like that whenever he wants to,
He
right?
can, listen, that guy can do it all. So like in the studio, he's a fucking wizard, right? Like he can
As in
flex any style.
Does
Any-
he make
any-
beats as well or no?
He might make beats, but he could do any style to anything you put in front of him.
Yeah.
He's just one of those dudes, right? You get him in the live arena where some guys can't perform shit they make in the studio. It's too
All right.
difficult. They need help, hype man or something like this to get them through the song, right? Fucking guy don't need it. He has one of the greatest hype man in Spliff Star, but when it comes down to it, if he had to do a solo performance, one of the best.
What makes a great hype man?
The guy who could bring the energy that matches the MC and keep the crowd moving. Like Flavor Flav is one of the greatest hype men in the world, and you know, Sendog is up there with Flav, but I don't necessarily like to call Sendog a hype man because he raps too, and a lot of people, you know, don't realize how dope he is. But on this next album we got coming out in the next year in March, this motherfucker is flexing.
Awesome.
Yes, you know, it's good to see him do that because a lot of times he does what we do. We stay in pocket, you know, and make the song great together as opposed to, you know, what us doing this competition. Because we grew up doing it like that, you know, like it's us together, not me trying to outshine you or you out trying to shine me. We're a group, you know.
Yeah.
We work together. And on this particular album, man, we went in on showing people just how dope Sendog really is. Years later, at 55, flipping.
That's awesome.
Fucking awesome.
When's that come out?
That's coming out in March.
Okay.
How many beers would he typically have before he got on the microphone?
I mean, this is going to be
at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is gonna
Probably
be...
2. I'm going to say 2. Maybe
Oh, that's
3.
good. You're better at everything after 2 beers. Pool,
think
rapping.
I want to just disagree a little bit on that one.
I'm better at absolutely everything after
Okay.
2 beers.
I feel like if I had 2 beers and then tried to do some skate shit
Nah,
at Tony's, I might get knocked the fuck out.
No.
That's what I think would happen.
no way, man.
Yeah.
Surfing, parenting.
I can't do it. Like it's well known. If I drink any beers before a show, I'm forgetting like 3-4 of those raps.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm totally joking. I'm hiding in the
I
other
can't.
room because you guys are smoking weed.
I can't.
That is actually true. Wow. Good for you,
I'm
Michael.
not actually in New York enjoying bagels and cannoli right now.
Ah,
believe or
dang it.
not.
I thought you got a jet back there as well.
Thought he was on his private.
Yeah,
Right.
Talk to you soon, guys. I gotta go.
No, you don't. You're on the show. Stay here.
I'm not too far off from Tully as far as tolerance goes. I have a pretty low tolerance.
You just did a volcano though, right?
I did. I'll be okay.
Is
But,
the
like-
room getting to you?
No. But I was
gonna
curious
say.
if you've ever been rocked by an edible. Be real, because you.
An edible? Yeah, absolutely.
I love his weed panic stories.
Oh man.
They bring such joy to me.
So we had just filmed this video, Latin Lingo. And this was one of the one of our first 6 videos, right? And it's one that I wasn't rapping on. I had a very small part on it. But because it's a group thing, I had to be there all day with Sendog. Much like when I'm the lead, he's got to be there all day. But most videos have both of us in it, right? But this one was led by him, Latin Lingo, right? So I smoked all my weed up at the video. And my weed hookup was in Long Beach. So I had to drive we were filming over off of what is now Cesar Chavez and fuck, what was it? It's like, but kind of by where Alvarado is, like the 2, where Alvarado goes into the 2.
Downtown, going to Glendale.
Right.
Yeah, my
Okay.
dentist's over there.
It was like around that area that we were filming one of the last pieces to that video. So and it ended late. I was miserable because back then I didn't like doing videos at all. Not when I was the
Why?
lead, not just because I wasn't used to it.
Cheesy.
No, I didn't feel like I felt like I didn't know how to be in front of the camera. So like I didn't like doing
How'd
it.
you figure that out?
I snapped the fuck out of it and said, this is the job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is
It's the job.
do it. Because
It's
later
just-
on when they make the video and it comes out, You're going to look sweet, so
Right.
go with it.
Right. Got to
Yeah.
go with it. So as much misery as it brought me at the time, I did it because that's the job.
Yeah.
But when this was finished and my weed was gone, I called my homie in fucking Long Beach. I said, hey, ran out of weed. I'm coming up there. And he says, yeah, come on. We're hanging out. Wow. So I go out there and I'm driving the big blue Cadillac. It's a Seville, one I talk about on the first album, the big blue Seville. I go out to Long Beach and, they're there fucking partying. It's like this, but with 6 or 7 people in there, all smoking out. It's like boxed. I was like, all right, cool shit. All right. So he gives me what he needs to give me. He's like, hey, you want to take some bong hits? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I sit down on the couch with the other homies, and I know everybody there. They're all my homies that I know from him. But these guys at the time were a little bit more advanced than me in the smoking. These guys were fucking monsters, right? So I'm sitting there. They give me the first bong hit. Boom, I'm good because I take bong hits, no problem.
Yeah.
Then it comes back around another time.
Yeah.
And then another time. So I've had 3 of them. And after the third one, I'm like, God damn, I'm really fucking high right now. I'm thinking to myself, and I'm starting to do this.
Oh no.
Fuck, I can't breathe. Hey, I tell the homie, hey, open the window, man. I can't fucking breathe, man. And they're like, are you tripping? It's cool in here. Fucking open the window. I'm like, you know what? I gotta leave. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. I fucking take off and I'm in my fucking caddy. I roll all the windows down because now my temperature's up. I'm fucking hot and I am high as fuck. And we fucking roll off, right? And these are the guys who I did the first edible with, right? But the way they got me the first time wasn't even with the edible. It was with those bong hits, right? So I'm on the way home. I'm feeling like I'm fucking Luke Skywalker in the land fucking...
You're hovering.
Yeah, I'm hovering in the caddy. It felt like I was hovering. So I call him.
Allegedly, you were doing this, by the way.
Yes, allegedly. So I fucking call him the next day. I'm like, hey, man, that fucking, I was fucking high last night. He goes, yeah, man, I was wondering what the fuck was going on with you. You left early. You were tripping. And I'm like, yeah, man, those fucking bong hits were devastating. What weed was that? He goes, oh, well, there was hash on the bottom of the weed. And I didn't know that. So my mind wasn't ready for how high I was based off of just thinking that it was weed.
Right.
So that fucking smashed me out. I never had an experience like that. But with those same guys, did my first edible, right? And it was much like that same scenario, only I didn't run out of weed. I was just visiting with these dudes. And they're like, hey, we made some fucking, some cupcakes with fucking...
They made them.
They made them.
Yeah, bad idea.
Back then, no one knew how to dose these fucking things. You just fucking made them with whatever you fucking had. And these guys had lots of weed, so they would put lots of weed in these fucking cupcakes. And they told me, hey, man, eat half of one. Don't eat the whole thing. Save the other half and eat it another day or later that day.
Okay.
But don't eat it all. And I did what every fucking person does when they tell you not to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I don't feel this. This shit is weak. Fucking ate the whole thing. Oh, man. I was sitting at home watching some dramatic shit. And in the middle of it, and there was no comedy in this movie I was watching, I start fucking laughing hysterically through it. And I was crispy, bro. Like, it was great at first, and then I wanted off the ride, and there was no off the ride because it's in your system. Oh, man.
Crispy.
I was really crispy. It felt really cool at first, and then it took hold.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I want off this ride.
What? When it took hold, is this like a bad mushroom trip almost now?
It's just too much. It's way too much.
Could you still breathe?
Yeah, I could breathe.
That's good.
It was different.
Okay.
That was different, bro. I was like, oh my God.
I feel like anybody that's a seasoned weed smoker has had the he did that breath thing where you're like,
Oh yeah.
you do a weird where you start telling yourself to have proper breaths,
Yeah.
and then until you can't forget it. You can't get it to go away.
I think I've done that to people in the smoke box, where when it gets really thick and it's that, and they're high as fuck and they didn't think it was going to be that.
Who's the person that's been on your show that you thought, oh, he's fucking super gone? Because I know Tony Hawk told me that he did the show, I think it was right before me, and he said, like, he drove down the street and then he was like, I can't see the road. He pulled over and said he hung out in his car for like an hour just trying to get his wits about him again.
And he didn't smoke.
He didn't even smoke. He was just in the room.
In the room.
How are you doing, Michael?
Oh, bonjour. I'm doing great over here. It's a lovely morning in Paris.
You are traveling the world, my friend.
No contact heights.
The world is my oyster. No.
Okay, good. Is
the
the
only
window
thing I can
open
smell is French people.
in France? Is the window open?
Yeah, I got the air circulating over here in France.
Right, good.
Yeah, it's got
it's
that
funky.
feature now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funky France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I ask?
Who's the highest guy from
Oh yeah.
this?
Who's a guest that you got the high? Like who
Oh.
you thought was struggling the most from being in the room or attempting to join you guys? Because I smoke weed every day, and when I go and do your show, I get two. And the second one, I don't need it right now. Like I smoke it because I'm on your show, but if I was like on the couch, I'd be like, that one can wait. I'm fucking rock really high.
Yeah, in terms of the smoke box, I think the highest person, there's two, right? That come to mind. One is Doug Benson. He got really high, but I think that was a combination of that he did a dab before he got in the box. And then, we smoke joints to the head in the box. We don't share them.
Right.
And so, you just had a dab and then the box, and there's 4 of us in there smoking. So, it's a lot of smoke.
It does make a difference, man.
It makes a hell of a difference. So he had to, like Tony, pull to the side before he took off. He was chilling in his car, to get his senses back before he fucking took back off. And the other that was really high, but I mean, he hung in there, but he was really high, and you could tell that he was really high. And he talks about it all the time. As our friend Joe Rogan, he was high as fuck.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, he talks about it. He talked about it on his show.
That he got too high.
He was like, man, they get uncomfortably high.
Yeah, that would make sense because it is. You know what? It is heavy marijuana lifting day.
The funniest shit that he said was when he says this, right? He says, man, they get high before they even get in the car. They get uncomfortably high. And then Red Band says, who does that? And he says, they do.
Yeah.
I thought that was everything because we do. Because the reality is we get high as fuck before we even jump in the car.
I know, right?
And then we get high as fuck right after. I mean, we're not really getting high. We're maintaining.
Right,
at that
I
point.
know, right?
And
come on. Okay, you're maintaining, but at that particular time recording, you're flexing.
Yeah, on the weed smoke, we're flexing for sure.
Because it's heavier. I smoke weed all day, man. And those shows, I always remember, like, because I'm even, especially because it's been like this for me. I was sober or whatever, so sometimes I would have been a little less conditioned. And then the last time, I'm like, man, I do it all day. Like I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna go for it. And then I remember halfway through it, I was like, whew, yeah, I guess I'll light it again. But I was struggling. I didn't realize how much being in the room adds to it. Because I just kept thinking you guys had magic weed. Like I thought that he's just got some strand that's fucking way heavier than all other strands. Because I'm way higher than no. I've never been this high from a joint.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it, right? Is that our shit is strong, right? The other thing is that for the podcast, right? It's different than the smoke box. The smoke box enclosed area, much smaller, so you get higher quicker there.
Oh, okay.
But you've been on on the podcast as well, which is a more open room.
Oh, I don't remember.
But
I was always so high when I was there.
every person, every co-host has like 4 joints to their head, and we smoke them all. So like if someone comes in there, we don't expect them to smoke. We're doing the smoking.
Okay.
So that's why we made the Dr. Green Thumb podcast, because we knew that friends that fuck with what we're doing want to come by. They just don't smoke, and they don't necessarily want to be in the confines of that car, if they don't smoke. And, quite frankly, our fans are kind of, they're thuggish. If they see you in the car and you're not smoking, they're going to go in on you.
Yeah.
But on the podcast, they know that this is the format that we built for folks that don't necessarily smoke, right?
Yeah.
And if they come, they're bathed. They're bathed in smoke. They're baptized. We give them a baptism in smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Tony was one of those guys. He got baptized in smoke.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he says he got affected, and I believe him.
Yeah, me too.
And my wife tries to tell me that, contacts are not real. And I keep trying to tell her, I'm like, but you've been with me for 20 years. I've boxed you out, anywhere we've gone, you've got tolerance for this.
Yeah, that's believable.
Either that or she's been high for 20 years and just forgot.
Tully's super, he's got contact high from vape pens. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Look, I could prove it. I don't know if they ever worked out an actual, I've never got pulled over by the police where you have to walk a straight line and do the alphabet backwards and all that stuff. But some test like that, you could easily do it to me sober, do it to me when I've been around somebody smoking a single joint, and I will fucking fail the second time. Like, you can't feel what I'm feeling, so I can't prove it, but you could prove it objectively. We're out there.
I believe that contacts are real.
Yeah.
You
have to.
I believe it because I've seen it.
Yeah, right.
We used to, okay, so when we were doing the smoke box at first, and this, my wife's thinking that the contact is all in your head. The contact is all in your head.
Yeah.
It's placebo type shit, right?
Okay.
And so I tested the theory. We had a person that worked at Be Real TV. One of our, the person who books our guests, she didn't smoke weed. She wasn't a weed smoker. We put her in the front seat and put 4 people in there and smoked the car out, windows up. She was high as fuck.
She said, I'm high as fuck.
Oh, she came out and said she was high as fuck. You could see it in her eyes. I mean, she was affected.
I mean, there's certain hot box where you cannot deny that you are going to get really high. Like a car with the windows up, you're fucking gone.
I'll tell you like this, right? So Kool Keith came in, right? He's a legendary rapper. You know who this is, right? He is from a group called Ultramagnetic MCs. For those who don't know, look him up. He's become Dr. Octagon and Black Elvis and many manifestations of different rappers. It's Kool Keith. Anyway.
Dr. Gynecologist.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dr. Gynecologist. He comes to do the smoke box, and his manager wants to come in. He's like, hey, could I get in and sit in the back seat? I said, it's going to get kind of smoky. He goes, oh, man, I've been around people that smoke before. I could take it. That's no problem. I'm like, all right. Get in the back seat. And, so he jumps in the back seat, and we start sparking it up, Keith and I. And Keith smokes. He's an avid smoker, right? They smoke blunts. He can hang. So him and I make it smoky real quick. And within 2-3 minutes of the interview, he was like interrupted, like, hey, yo, can I get out of here, yo? I need to step out. and just to fuck with him, I looked back at him and said, nah, we don't do that. and then I let him out.
Oh, man.
I wasn't going to let him out neither. I was going to make him sit there. I'm like, nah, man, we can't. This is live. And it wasn't live, but I was going to totally fuck with him. But, I didn't want him passing out in the back seat. That wouldn't have been a good look.
I don't know. It'd be pretty funny, but I get it. Safety first.
Well, I get all the blame for
I know,
things
you
like
for
this,
sure,
right?
yeah.
So I, like if I get this guy passing out and convulsing back there, man,
That's
I'm
bad,
like,
yeah.
"Ugh, no,
You know
can't do it."
that happened to a guy at my house when I was a kid, in my parents' house, and we're in the kitchen, and it's a friend of a friend, and we didn't know that he had he had seizures. He knew that he had them. I don't know how frequent they were, but we were doing bongs out of like an orange juice bong that we made with the fucking hose, super bogan bong that kids made back in the day. And this guy does a huge rip, and he's sitting down, and he does a huge rip, and then just goes and falls sideways off the chair and onto the ground, and then starts doing, you know what I mean? Like,
Man. Yeah.
Was it from the bong hit, or was this just weird timing?
I think the bong hit
It's
triggered
probably
it,
both.
but it also happens to him. But myself and this other guy, my friend, both of us have never seen this. I'm not even aware. I haven't seen a movie where someone has a fucking seizure.
Yeah.
As far as I know, you're dying. You know what I mean? Like, you're about to die. Or you're about to explode. Meat's going to go flying everywhere. Because he looked, I never seen anybody do that before, dude.
It's gnarly,
But I remember my friend and I locked eyes, and we were both shitting ourselves. We were like, what are we going to do? And then out of nowhere, he just stops shaking, and he gets up. And as he gets up, he goes, was I shaking a lot? And I was like, yeah.
A little bit.
And he goes,
a little bit.
He goes, yeah, I don't mean to freak you guys out, mate. I do. It happens from time to time. I have this thing where I get it. And we're both like, oh, wow. Out of anything that could happen after that, that's the thing that I wanted to happen, where I'm like, oh, that is an explanation where I believe you. And I also believe you're not going to die right now. And that we can just go back to smoking bongs.
And that's good for the mentality. Say he's not going to die right now. That's awesome.
I was grateful that he said that, because I really thought that I'd never seen anybody do that, dude. It was terrifying.
Sweet. He's just epileptic.
Yeah.
I swear, I think that's how that ended.
Look, in '96, we were in South America for the first time, right? And we're in Brazil, finishing out the last of the shows there. When we get there, there's our manager rep and then the Sony rep, right? The person who works for Sony in that region, making sure that we're doing all the promo, all the radio, and all the shit in between the shows and stuff like this, right? Like to promote the new record and all that stuff, which I think it was Temples of Boom at the time. And so after all the shit, some of these record company reps want to party with you and hang out, right? So the Sony rep was with myself, Bobo, Muggs, and
Bobo does dabs while we're smoking these in the studio.
Man.
Oh yeah,
there's a dab in front of him.
Bobo is a beast of smoking. Yes. So we're all smoking some weed down there, and mind you, it wasn't that great at all. That
the weed's bad.
Boof, as we call it.
Okay.
Horrible.
Pretty hard to get that these days, isn't it?
Back in '96.
Oh shit! Sorry, yeah.
In '96.
Yeah, there was tons of it.
No, there was shit. It was like very little, and the quality of it was crap, especially in Brazil. Horrible. We took a couple of puffs and we're like, nope, here you go. And the Sony rep, who was a lady, she took a couple of hits, right? And then she passed it on. And then we just sort of put it out because it was shit weed. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden she's sitting on the edge of one of the beds that were in the fucking room, and she starts doing something like this. Like we're like
waving to somebody?
Yeah, like
waving hello?
Like her hand is shaking like this.
Like a constant Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. And then she falls back on the bed, and
shit.
And we're like, oh shit. Noticing, okay, this is a seizure, right?
Yeah.
And
you're aware of it.
We're aware of it. Couple dudes fucking run out of the room because they think she's fucking dying. Right?
Oh, because they don't know.
Oh.
They've never seen that.
None of us have ever seen that. So someone flips her over, right? Because that's always the thought. Don't have them on their back. Flip person over, right? So don't swallow their tongue and all that. Or if they
Look at you guys
throw up,
saving lives.
all that shit. That we knew, right?
Yeah.
So we flip her over. She snaps out of it, and she's like sitting down there. We gave her some water. She's cool, right? And she's embarrassed more than anything. And she's like, "Fuck! You know what? I think I should leave." In a thick Brazilian accent. She spoke English, but and so we're, 4 of us like just sort of freaking out that this just happened, and we're worried about her. And she was like, "Yeah, maybe someone should take her home," and blah blah blah. So one of the other Sony reps is, "Oh, we have her. We'll take her home." And as they're rolling out the door, right? So going to the door, there's a slide closet, right? This like, the mirrored type where you slide it open, you could see what you're rocking. It's a double wide fucking thing. So this one happened to be, open. They left the fucking thing open. It wasn't closed. Thank God. Because we were sitting there like looking at each other as she was walking out, like, oh my God, did you trip on? Like we're all doing that sort of thing while she's walking out. And then all of a sudden we hear like, blah, blah, blah. We're like, what the fuck? And we look, and her legs, you could only see her legs coming out of the closet. She fucking collapsed into the fucking closet. So her upper torso was in the closet. Her legs were out of the closet. We were fucking tripping out at this point because, we thought she had a seizure. Now she's dropped dead.
Man, on some dirt weed?
On some dirt weed.
The fuck is that?
And so, we got her back up again, and we all, helped her down. We gave, try to give her the water and whatever else that we could give her to fucking get her back, get her legs back, right? And so, finally she composes herself and she's able to walk out and get into the car with the other Sony rep and roll out. And we were like totally tripping because we were like, we'd never seen anything like that happen before. And unbeknownst to any of us, and I think including her, because she went to the doctor the next day, turns out she was pregnant.
And that is why that happened?
We don't know.
But she found out she was pregnant after that.
They just thought, they thought
no permanent brain injury or anything?
No, because fortunately she didn't knock her head on anything.
You think she ever told the baby that story?
That's
No.
interesting.
No, you don't tell the
think
baby
so?
that. I wouldn't, but you never know. Each to their own.
Yeah, we were tripping off that, man.
We did a Ellis Mania in the river in Lake Havasu, and Lewis, the guy that I'm gonna eventually fight, is he brought a girl on my boat. I had a boat in the water, and everybody was partying. I was just smoking weed. Everyone else was drinking or whatever. And I was watching UFC on my phone. And then I didn't see this girl fall. Apparently, this girl did a dab. My friend had a dab machine, and she did a dab. And then apparently she got real wobbly, and then she just flopped on the ground. So no one's saying anything about her. And apparently there were just a few people looking at me, waiting for me to see it, because they thought that I would probably do something.
Yeah.
So I'm watching these fights, and for some weird reason, I look back, and there's a lady lying on her back with her eyes wide open, out. And I look, and I'm like, what?
Scary.
And then I look back at my fight, and I'm like, wait a minute. It is a girl with it. And I'm like, I put the phone down, and Lewis is right there, and he walks up to me. I go, what the fuck? And he goes, oh, no, it's cool, dude. She's with me. And I look into his eyes, and I can see that he is intoxicated on a few things.
On something.
Yeah. And I was like, nah, man, that's not how it goes. Like, you got to help her. And so I go down there and start talking to her, and out of nowhere, she kind of, comes to and sits up, and she's not all there, but she was definitely really wasted. But apparently she did that. Someone said that they watched it happen. She did the dab, and then she just wobbled behind me. Because that was the other thing. When she came, she introduced herself to me before this. I don't know her. She's just like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I hope you don't mind me being on the boat. Wasted. And I saw that she was Lewis's friend. So I said, okay. But then she just did one of those from a dab where she looked like she died.
Yeah. That plenty of people, when they do dabs, they'll fuck around and pass out. One, because maybe they took too much and it just blanked them out. I've seen that happen. And then there's the position that you take when you're dabbing, right? So like if you're hunched over and you're taking these breaths, and depending on how big that dab rig is or how big of a hit you pulled, some folks hold their breath for a second, right? So when you take the dab and you're holding your breath and you come up, what happens?
Oh, you get you get dizzy.
Right.
Because some people don't usually hold their breath for long periods of time and then bob their head straight back up.
Right. It's like that old game kids used to play where they'd do the heavy breathing real quick and then stand up straight and then they pass the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but you're doing it with dabs.
You don't think it's the incredible amount of THC that is in a dab?
I think sometimes it's that.
But you think a lot of times they just take a giant breath and fucking then jump back up like that.
Yep.
Because you're right. I have seen that's when the hardest hitting marijuana shot of all time is people doing a dab and really committing to it. And if you dig deep on a dab, you cannot help going, whoa, because you just breathe for as deep as you possibly could.
Yeah, you're using deep lungs on the dabs. And look, you should, I always tell people, whether they're smoking joints or dabs, and most especially blunts, right?
Yeah.
Don't hold the shit in. You're going to get high either way, right? Breathe it in, let it right the fuck out. You're getting just as high, but you're not doing, as much to your lungs. The more you leave that shit in there, that's when all that buildup happens.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? The more you let it out, the quicker you let it out, there's less time for any buildup in your lungs for any of that shit, especially blunt smokers, because, they are smoking tobacco
in there. Yep.
Yeah.
That's got to be an old school thing, right? Like, do kids hold it anymore?
Hold what?
Because I remember the first time I don't know, maybe the first couple of years of me smoking weed, everybody would take a hit. And I remember there was a game you would try and hold it until the joint came back to you in the rotation.
Yeah, that is very old school.
Yeah.
But, habits die hard among smokers. Some people like to hold their shit in because they feel like it's going to get them higher.
I feel like some people smoke cigarettes that way too. Like I remember Will, our friend Will that works at Sirius. When he smoked, he would do that. He'd go, he'd do that.
Hold it so long it disappeared, didn't even blow anything out.
He would do some weird face that looked like, oh, this is the most efficient way to get as much shit into there.
That's deep lung right there. I'm not wasting any of it.
Right, but he did it for every puff. I'm like, dang, man.
Yeah, he dabs cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was really happy when he quit because I was like, it's not a good look for you, dude. I don't know if you've seen yourself smoke, but you pull a fucking inhaled face.
Yeah, that's the thing about cigarettes, man. They drag you in. That's one thing I'm glad I never got into, man. I hated the smell of tobacco. Never fucked with it. Like blunts, I don't know how I did them for so many years, But
was that the thing you always smoked, or?
No, just when I had a lot of friends from the East Coast, and whenever they'd come over, from the East Coast, most especially Muggs, he introduced us to blunts.
Okay.
Because that was the East Coast thing. Out here in Southern Cali on the West Coast, we smoked joints.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people use bongs, some people like the little pipes and shit like that.
Has it always been that way?
It was that way for a long time. And then, we fucked around and did the High Times magazine issue where we showed people how to roll blunts. That part was our fault. We brought an East Coast thing and highlighted it to whoever was looking at High Times magazine at that time, whatever the subscriber based or the reader base, whatever you want to call it. They were introduced to blunts at that point, those that didn't know. And on the East Coast, they were familiar with it. But on the West and Midwest, they weren't so familiar with it. And, it caught on from there. And I smoked a lot of blunts in that time. I went for a few years smoking blunts and joints, and a lot of times mostly blunts. And we're doing, our shows at this point, like it's the first 3-4 years of us getting out there. And I'd always be spitting up shit, my lungs always felt like I had shit in them. My throat always felt like it was like I was hoarse, right?
Yeah.
Dry and shit like that. And
Yeah.
I could not get the sound that I had on the record.
Oh shit. Fuck
so,
that.
That was a part of why I let the blunts go, the way it made my lungs feel, and the fact that I could not get, I had a raspiness in my fucking voice.
It's because of the amount of weed you smoke too. Every time you smoke, it's with the blunt, and the blunt's going to make it out, it's going to do damage quicker.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to inhale tobacco on top of that shit. So, I was totally going against, my constant like shitting on tobacco by fucking smoking these blunts. So, I was glad when I let them go because I felt, my lungs were better.
Yeah.
I wasn't spitting up shit anymore, and my voice felt right.
Yeah, if you're over 17 years old, you don't need anything from a Philly cigar in your mouth
at all.
Do you back in the day, or all the guys in your scene, was there anybody that was more potentially a person that would punch a person in the face, eat more like easier? Like you knew that he was a guy that was, or a girl that was a little bit too easy on the hands? Because I knew people like that growing up. But was there any famous performers that you knew?
In any circle, there's always that,
right?
And for us, we were all pretty good with the hands, but the one that was most likely to put their maybe use them, it was always Muggs. Is the wild card. If you insulted him or you came at him aggressive or in a disrespectful way or whatever, it wouldn't be uncommon if you fucking, put one on you real quick, and he was a strong dude coming up as a young guy, man.
Yeah.
He was fit.
How's that work when you're like a celebrity and you assault somebody? Even if they hit you, then how's that all work?
Well,
can you get away with that?
I never really saw him do it so much as, we got more popular as kids. I seen him get down with people that, and I knew he was a fucking hot one. You know what I mean? If somebody was disrespectful, he was not going to stand for that shit.
Yeah.
None of us would, but he would most likely be the one to respond first.
Yeah.
And but through our career, I think we all realized early on that whatever we do, any one of us is going to affect the other because it's going to affect the group.
Yeah.
And that's all of us. So, we always try to be cool, but I mean, they got into some scuffles for sure. I never really got into any scuffles because I came from the gangbang culture into this. I knew I didn't want to fuck up what we had. And I know that like out of all of us, if they look up the who we are and shit like that, I have all this crap from the gangbang and shit on my back. So I know they're going to fuck with me first. So I always maintain to stay out of shit with people. Never put my hands on anyone, and just sort of maintain to be cool because I was gambling on this rap shit.
And it was working. It was paying off.
It was working, so I don't want to fuck it up for me. But
everybody in the group totally agreed and never kind of lost it for a second.
For the most part. But as a young man, if you're at a bar and somebody tests you, or is coming at you, you got to defend yourself or stand up or something. You know what I mean? So like, shit can happen. Because it's like if you're a fighter, right? They're constantly like, thinking there's a chip on your shoulder. Let me go knock that chip off and see, just, test your mettle and see how tough you really are, right? So with rappers, especially ones that were considered gangster rappers or street rappers, you show up in someone's town and you're getting attention and they don't like that shit. And, they might be inclined to come up and get in your face and be like, why don't you get the fuck out of here? Because you don't belong out here.
But no one's done that to you.
Well, I never put myself in that position to.
How do you not put yourself in that position?
Because I didn't go out in the clubs. I like in the beginning, I didn't go out with everybody. I stood back because I know looking up my record, the first fucker they're throwing in is me. Because I had a gang file in Los Angeles.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was always paranoid about that. Like the fact that I'm on a gang profile.
What is a gang profile exactly? Like the police have a thing on you specifically or the gang?
The gang and you, where you are affiliated to this gang. They have a profile on you that you are a member or affiliated or any of that. So I was a member of this gang that I had, you know, the mug shots and all the shit that goes with being.
How many years were you in that?
I was in since when I was young. And
like how young?
I was probably banging when I was like 15 or something like this, you know, up until music caught me, right? So
when you were 15, were you happy to be in it or was it more like...
I mean, I was indoctrinated. So, you know, like, yeah, I was believing in that life right there. And I knew what came with it. And I was accepting of it, you know.
Do you think you were accepting of it because that life was something that you only knew that life and it was like, yeah, well, duh, this is what age I am, so it's time to go.
You know, at the time it's what called to me. You know, I didn't have to be that.
Right. So you did.
None of us really have to, that were in that, never really have to be that. I mean, we could choose to be that. We can gravitate towards that. And we could say it's, you know, within us because of who came before us, and maybe they were affiliated. So now we're legacy and we're affiliated, but that's not really the deal. You choose it.
Did you have aspirations to be a high ranking like did you
I didn't look at it.
You were
like
just
that.
happy to be in it?
I was just soldiering, you know. Right. I was just soldiering at that point.
And that you figured that life would be, that's it for Be Real, that's your life?
I had no clue. You know, I didn't. Did
you think back then when you were 15, did you have any thoughts of music at that age?
Well, before that, yeah, you know, because I was hanging out with Sen and Muggs and Sen's brother Mellow Man Ace, and you know, we all were, you know, fans of hip hop, all parts of the culture,
but not working music together.
We did it as a hobby.
Okay, so you were already okay.
And then I broke away, and they stuck with it.
Shit.
And when they had something, and it was you know, that Muggs got into this group called 783 that was based out of East New York. And then Mello got it. They helped Mello get a deal on Delicious Vinyl. They called me in to write stuff for Mello, or not for him, but like write 2 songs for his album.
Yeah.
Because he needed 2 more songs. And they knew I was at least talented with the writing, and they were my friends, and they were constantly trying to pull me out of the gangbang shit, you know? And I was constantly fighting against that. Like, man, I'm cool. I'm good over here.
Yeah.
And they were like, one day, I don't know how they convinced me, but they were like, yo, let's go to the studio. We got the studio time. We need 2 songs for Mello, man. Come on. What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fuck it. And
so at that point right there, when you go, all right, fuck it.
That was it.
You'd obviously had time, a few days here to think about it, or weeks, whatnot, but I'm out. I'm going to get out, and I'm going to give this music thing 100%.
Well, what happened was I'm hanging out in the studios with them and helping write these songs. And then I realized I could still write the raps. I needed guidance on how to write a proper song. And I got that. There was a few people like Brett B from 783 and this chick that Muggs knew way back in the day named Linda Never. She was a songwriter.
Yeah.
And she sort of helped me structure how to write choruses and verses. And then seeing what Brett was doing, I sort of, got the gist of it, like seeing how he wrote songs and the advice she was giving me. So then I realized how to structure a song, and I wrote 2 for that album, and they sounded pretty good with him doing them.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, this shit is kind of cool. And then I was meeting other rappers at the time that were like big, like at the time, Tone Loc was like what Snoop Dogg is now.
Yeah.
Right? Tone Loc was everywhere. He was like the fucking star of Delicious Vinyl's roster. And he was pretty much doing what Snoop does now. He was like the guy.
Yeah.
And then Young MC, who was also cracking off at the time. He had, major hits. And, he was running in and out the studio and stuff like that. So, I'm in the mix with these, or like not in the mix with them, but like around them. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of tight. And I got used to that in the couple days that I was there. Like this could be cool, right?
Yeah.
And so I found myself wanting to be in the studio more than I wanted to be on the corner or on the block.
Yeah.
And before you know it, we're doing more. And this is how they peeled me out of the streets. They got me intrigued in making this fucking music. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do the music. And if I'm going to do the music, I got to leave this shit alone because I'm not going to bring any of my bullshit into this.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I had the kind of homies that were like supportive as opposed to, oh, you're going to leave and blah, blah, blah.
Is that rare? Is it usually the other way around? You just don't get to get out?
I think it depends who you are.
And it was just the kind of person they knew you to be. They thought, yeah, why not give him he's a good rapper, and who knows, maybe he gets huge. That would be awesome for him. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck.
Yeah, I think they just accepted. Some probably, were probably not so stoked about it.
Okay.
Because when you're in a gang, there's a lot of people in a gang, right? There's a lot of members. And you have your own circle within that circle. And they will be the ones to support you. Everybody outside, you just don't know. So I would imagine there was people like, oh, he ain't going to do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but that's the shit you might deal with. But I never caught any of that, as far as I know. Right. Most of my homies were supportive. There was maybe one or two that were like, fuck him. But
and is that like, so you can write, you've learned how to write and you're good at it. And when do you say, hey, I fuck it, I'll grab the mic? Like, have you grabbed the mic yet? Or?
Oh, that took a minute,
How long?
I had to get comfortable because like my shit was not cool at the time. I could write. No doubt about that. But like my delivery sucked.
Oh, wow.
At least I thought it did at the time, and I think Muggs thought it was okay, but it wasn't what was going to cut through.
Yeah.
And we were working on our Cypress Hill documentary recently, and
when's that coming out?
That's coming out next year.
Sweet.
And it's by Estevon Oriol and Jason Goldwatch. And we got a chance to listen to some of those old demos before I flipped my voice. And I was tripping out because I sounded like this, you might know this rapper, Special Ed, right? He's gold school. He goes back. His name is Special Ed. He's got a specific voice. He, that you know it when you hear it.
Yeah.
And when I heard that shit, I was like, damn, my voice sounds like Special Ed's voice at that time. But Muggs was right. For what we were gonna eventually end up doing, that voice was not suitable, and it didn't cut through on these particular songs.
Yeah.
And I eventually had to find a way to cut through. And my writing and the style of my writing was cool, but my voice wasn't there. And
how did you flip it, as you say?
Well, Muggs came to me, and I think I told you this story maybe some years back, where he says, hey, look, we got to do something with your voice. Otherwise, you're going to write for Send Dog. So I had to figure something out right there, right? If I was going to be on any of the music, right? And we were big fans of this rapper named Ram LZ, who would rap real low like this, and then he would go high up, like you hear my voice on 90% of our shit. So I saw him pitch his voice, and I thought, fuck, maybe I could do that. And I tried it on the song Real Estate. and they happened to like the flip. I didn't think they were going to like it. I didn't even know if I liked it, but they liked it.
Yeah.
And
then that's it.
And that was it. That was it right there. The flip in where I started having more confidence on the mic was then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but it took a minute to be able to do that live. It took like a few years before I got it right, because I was like, again, I was smoking blunts, I was drinking whiskey and fucking doing all that shit. My voice was shredded.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I let that shit go and I got this vocal coach, and we talked about this before too, an opera. She teaches opera singers. She got me to get my voice together there, and that's how I started sounding right. But yeah, in the beginning, I didn't like the voice. You know, I was like, fuck, I got to rap like this. I was very iffy about it, like, you know, but Muggs loved it. He was like, nah, I want you to rap like this. You know what? The song we did the other day, do it in this voice. I'm like, oh shit, all right. And, you know, doing it at first, like hearing myself doing it, I was like, fuck, I don't know. But then after he would put it all together and, you know, craft the song and really produce it, I was like, damn, this shit sounds pretty good. But are other people going to like this shit? Because, you know, it might be slightly annoying to some people, that tone.
It's timeless.
Guys, I hate to interrupt you from Egypt, but I think we do have to wrap this up.
Oh,
hey, man.
Yeah. Before we go, though, from as long as I'm here from Egypt, I wanted to ask you, how many physical locations of Dr. Green Thumb do you have now, and how much fun is it dealing with the government setting up a weed store?
Right now, it's 6 locations, and we're working towards, you know, being a multi-state operator and going into different states next year. Which
that's got to be fun.
That is something we'll do. I mean, you know, it's great on one hand because, I mean, you know, it's like a vision that we had when you know, the cannabis industry opened up, like the possibility of creating a brand, whether it be a strain or something like that. It turned into stores, right? Like we could have a fucking retail store. Oh my God, right? And, you know, seeing it go from 1 to 6 and the, you know, what the future holds in opening the other ones outside of California. I mean, shit, it's surreal because, you know, we knew it was possible back in the day. It's what we fought for the possibility of it being this way. But to actually be living in it, that's still crazy. I mean, so, you know, it's great on one hand because you're seeing all the progress that was made in the cannabis industry and the thoughts about cannabis from people who don't use it. They no longer look at it like it's cocaine or it's heroin or meth or an illicit crazy drug. Most people that are in the know, right? Still, there's some that are uneducated and they think it's a heavy narcotic. But, you know, those people can be educated at some point. The downside of it is the taxation on it in places like California. It's overtaxed.
Oh.
And, you know, cannabis brought the economy back here.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of things were leaving California, especially like in the entertainment industry. People were going to different places that was cheaper to film.
Yeah.
You know, more cost effective. California's losing, you know, certain revenue streams, and here cannabis brought it back, yet we're taxed like higher than any other business, or not business, but industry that's out there, right? And the regulations that in the hoops that make you jump through there. That being said, you go through it because it's all worth it. And eventually it'll change.
If you do have a store, you are on fire. If it's
the right store, right location, and you got the right brands in it aside from your brand.
Okay.
Because we could always bottleneck everybody into our store just to get our brand.
Yeah.
But, you know, we wanna share the look and highlight everybody's dope brand because that's what it's really about. There's more companies out there that produce great products in the cannabis space, and it ain't just us. So we want to let people know that, and we get them on our shelf so that people see the options and they could try one week, one the other, because they're always coming back. so they can try everything in the fucking store if they wanted to. You know what I mean?
I thought my job was pretty good, but your job is fucking awesome.
It's, I've been having fun because realistically, as an artist, we always thought just about making music.
Yeah.
And there was never any other possibility for us out there. But with cannabis, that's a space we've lived in since day one. So it feels good that, we can come into that space and create a brand and have impact that we've had, right? And then the other thing about Cypress and myself and Eric Bobo is that we've always been involved in this space, like, being interactive with fans and stuff like that, in terms of like, our website, we used to do the journals before they were called blogs. We called them soldier stories, and we would journal every damn day of the tour that we were on.
Yeah, you guys put in some fucking work over there, dude. Like all the shows, all the things that you do, the live shows and there's so many parts, and they're constantly, you've got a lot of new shows. Like you're doing one every day almost.
Yeah, I mean, look, we stay in the spaces that we know best.
Yeah.
Right. And one of them is the broadcast space, because Bobo and I used to do radio, and so the podcast stuff was a easy flip for us. It was just how to make it interesting. And we used to do all these bits and they'd be okay. But we found, just chilling with our homies, talking random shit was the shit people related to the most. And that's easy for us. We could do that, much like our chemistry and the way we hang out. It's sometimes
I love your show. I love
your
to
fucking show.
You guys are right up my alley with fucking stupid ass high questions for each other. And then because you're all so fucking fried, you're like, yeah, what would it be like if a crocodile had a baby's head instead of you're just off. You're off to the races when anyone brings up any stupid shit. You guys dive deep, and it's fucking entertaining as shit. I love it. I love all the shows you're doing, all the work everything you do, and always being there for us from way back, from the first time to now, really.
And I'm always gonna be here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. So,
and I love your shit too, man.
Thanks, mate. It's too bad Tully couldn't get there, but he's in Antarctica.
I'm in Antarctica. Yeah. I should probably get a sweater.
Yeah, you need a
yeah, man. That's
scarf.
Pretty. Holy shit! Obviously, you're doing the Wim Hof right now.
Yeah, I think I got a contact high from the penguins, so I can't feel shit.
Oh, yeah, they smoke.
Yeah, they get high as fuck.
Yeah. Do you know that out of all mammals, they can go lowest in the sea out of all, like, whales and shit?
Are you telling me, a guy in Antarctica facts?
My bad. I just was trying to relate.
She's saying you were out of pocket for that.
All right. Thanks, Be Real. We'll be back next week, everybody. Like and describe. Don't die.
That was awesome.
Bing, boing, poing, 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 poing.
If you want more Jason Ellis Show, sign up for their Patreon at patreon.com/EllisMate for a 2-hour show every Tuesday and Wednesday. To watch full episodes of The Jason Ellis Show, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Jason Ellis Show. And don't forget to follow the crew on Instagram at Wolfmate, at Tullywood, at Kevin Kraft, at Underwearwolf, and at The Jason Ellis Show.
Big fat point.
Katie Photo.
Big fat boy.